Welcome back to my channel. This is Life with Toppa. Good afternoon, world. If you like this video, make sure you share, subscribe, and follow the Toppa AKA Black Flag movement. Today we're going to be talking about things that happen in the trenches, prison sentence. This was a situation where an individual was in at the dam and he was sitting down on his phone, but he had his headphones hooked up to his phone. But he didn't. His phone was tucked underneath his shirt, but he got the headphones on. So the officer was making his round, walking around, checking in cells, making sure ain't nobody is dead or unresponsive or whatever the case may be. So he making his round. So he going from cell to cell to cell. So he finally got down to where the microwave was located on the bottom tier. And this individual was sitting in a chair and he got the headphones on and his phone tucked in his side, but he ain't got no Walkman in his hand. In the feds, they said Walkman with the headphones. He ain't got no Walkman in his hand or none of that. So the police was like, this is strange. He got a headphones on, but he ain't got no radio in his hand. So the officer told him, man, get up, man. Let me get a search, man. So the man, he got up, put his hands up against the wall. Man search him and find a phone on him. This individual that I'm talking about, you know who he is. You think he pretty smart, but that wasn't a smart move. And I know you've been working with the peoples too. I know all about that, dude. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. But anyway, make a long story short. The police put him up against the wall, took the phone off of him, which was a high phone, and booked him. Booked him meaning that he write up an incident report, what took place, and he caught the individual with an illegal phone inside of a prison, which is considered a contraband. So with him taking his phone off of this individual, he didn't end up going to the SHU right there and then. The SHU is a hole where an individual, when you actually violate prison rules, they actually put you in segregation for an amount of time or ship you, whatever the case may be. But he didn't go to the SHU that specific day because it got to get, once the officer write the incident report, it got to go to the lieutenant. Then the lieutenant got to see you to basically answer the shot, ask you, what's going on with this. Did he catch you with this? What's going on? Or whatever the case may be. So he didn't go to the SHU right there and then. But he did end up going to the SHU. But, this is one thing you have to know, man. You have to use your head in situations like this. Because people do it how we on the street. You got to be conscious of your surroundings, conscious of what you're doing, or whatever the case may be. But this individual, he wasn't being conscious. He had a headphone on, hooked up to a phone, and he didn't have a radio in his hand. He was faking like he was on the radio, but if he was smart, he'd have kept the radio in his hand, because if he had that radio in his hand, the officer would have never said nothing to him. He would have never even asked him for a search. But because he wasn't thinking, cost him. It's easy to get in trouble, but hard to get out of it. That's one thing about life. So, I hope you youngsters out there, man, learn something from this video. And somebody, it doesn't matter if it's a youngster or adult, just hopefully you learn something from this video. Make sure you're conscious of your surroundings, conscious of what you're doing every day you step outside of your house. If you like this video, make sure you share, subscribe, and follow the Toppa AKA Black Flag movement. And also, look forward for that book coming to a city near you. Only If the Walls Could Talk. This book is about USP Atlanta and what took place in USP Atlanta. And only if the walls could talk, you're going to hear some things. You're going to know some things when you read this book. And who was doing what and who ain't doing what. And who was faking. You're going to basically learn a lot from reading that specific book. So make sure when it comes out, you get your copy. I'm going to let the world know where they could go get that book from. Chop, chop, chop. You know what it is.